Hello everybody, this is Gregory with How I Lost Over 100 Pounds and I've kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and in your weight maintenance. Today we're going to talk about the importance of your microbiome vis-a-vis overall health and in terms of weight loss. Now before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also in the episode notes you'll see links to my website, my podcast, my books, and if you appreciate my content, please make a donation via the PayPal link. Microbiome is really important. I remember when I created the Awakened Man, the podcast back in 2017, I did an episode, I think episode 1 or 2 was on prebiotics and probiotics. So it's very important. And luckily today, kind of like kombucha, kind of like fasting, a lot of these things, they're much more in the know now among the cognoscenti that they were before, which is a good thing because gut health is important. And we can make this episode really long, but I don't want to make it too long. Just understand that we have colonies of mostly bacteria and fungus that are on our skin and in our gut. And 10% of the cells in us and on us are human. Just fathom that stat. 10% of the cells in us and on us are human. So we're covered by these things. We typically have a symbiotic relationship with the bacteria and fungus that are on us. They, along with our immune system, help do a good job of keeping the bad bacteria and fungus, the pathogenic stuff, down. And so when it comes to gut health, we have trillions of bacteria and fungus, mostly in our small intestines and some of our large intestines, but mostly in our small intestines. And they play a role down there. In general, we want to have good gut health because good gut health leads to higher serotonin levels produced by the gut. Serotonin is the mood neurotransmitter that keeps us in a good mood. You know, the SSRIs, for example, which are the most famous antidepressants, that's an acronym for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So we make serotonin there. And so having good gut health correlates to having more serotonin that is made. But also we have lesser rates of infections when we have good gut health. And vis-a-vis your relations to weight loss, when you have dysbiosis, which is the opposite of good gut health, you tend to get bloated. You get really bloated and crampy, and there's a lot of problems that can come from dysbiosis, but in relation to weight loss, it can play a role. That's not to say that you can't lose weight by not eating a lot of prebiotic and probiotic foods. What I'm saying, and this is one of the reasons of the foundational episode, is it is certainly an ally in your journey for weight loss and weight maintenance. It's an ally, and overall it's very important for your health. So how do you keep your gut health, your microbiome healthy? Well, there's a couple things. So we got prebiotics. Prebiotics are the foods that allow our probiotic or good bacteria and fungus to grow naturally. So you do want to be eating a decent amount of prebiotic foods. Most fruits and vegetables are prebiotic, but I do want to highlight unripened bananas, asparagus, onions, leeks. These are known to be very good prebiotic foods. Again, there's other great prebiotic foods, but these are kind of like the top-notch ones. So you do want to be eating an inordinate amount of those. Now, bananas, of course, have tons of sugar, but when they're unripened, and I talk about this on the episode on 5 things that are really cheap that you could buy that are good for you, when you eat them unripened, they're prebiotic, and they only have a quarter of the sugar that they normally have. When you eat them ripe, it's pretty much just pure sugar with some electrolytes and a little fiber. Now, you can eat probiotic foods or drinks. Most famous would be Greek yogurt. If you're going to go with Greek yogurt, make sure you eat it full fat and unflavored because the flavored ones have a lot of sugar. As I mentioned, kombucha is very popular now. We have an episode at The Awakened Man where we rate the different kombuchas out there. Just be careful with kombucha because there's a lot of makers of kombucha that put in a lot of sugar now because they want you to get hooked on their flavor, and they're suspecting that you're not going to look on the back to see how much sugar's on there. Then you got miso, which is very common in Asian food. You got tempeh, which is very common over there. You got kimchi, which is fermented sauerkraut. You have kefir, which is a Middle Eastern Turkish drink, and so forth. Now, what I typically do is I will try to eat Greek yogurt because I do like to make smoothies, but I typically take a probiotic pill. Now, if you're going to take a probiotic pill, invest and get a good probiotic pill. Don't go to Walgreens or CVS and get the acidophilus that's $5.99 that's on the shelf. You want to get ones that have a high CFU, colony forming unit, and you want to make sure you get the ones that are refrigerated because bacteria, like anything else, is stored and preserved better when it's colder. So There's a lot of good brands out there. I'm not really going to endorse any of them, but when you're looking on the back of them, most of these bottles are going to be $40 to $60 per bottle. When you look on the back, make sure that they have a lot of strands of the different bacteria and fungus, because that'll give you a wider variety. And supplement with probiotic pills. I think that's a better option, not just because I do it, but that's just the better option. So again, invest wisely with your money, like we talked about in the Dirty Dozen episode, and buy high quality probiotic pills. The microbiome is very important. I mean, look, there's a disease called C. diff, which people get at hospitals, and the way they treat C. diff, which is it's a large intestine bacterial growth of C. difficile, they inject healthy feces from other people into that person, because that person, their probiotic bacteria is pretty much been killed by C. diff. So they inject healthy feces in there to recolonize it. So again, it's pretty important. Now, speaking of that, antibiotics will destroy your microbiome, and some studies show that it takes 2 years for it to rebuild. So make sure if you ever take antibiotics that you legitimately need to take an antibiotic. We're going to talk about in the next episode the problem with antibiotics, especially in our meat. But antibiotics, really only take them as a last resort, aside from just the antibiotic resistant strands that we're developing by over taking antibiotics. Just understand that it really messes with your gut health, and then when you're messing with your gut health, it can mess with a lot of other things that we've already talked about. So in closing, guys, try to eat prebiotic foods, try to eat fermented foods, and I would supplement with a probiotic pill. And again, this isn't going to guarantee weight loss or anything like that, but it's a nice ally in your journey for weight loss and weight maintenance. Guys, post in the comments, let me know if you do take any pills or if you eat foods that are cultivating a good microbiome. Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Until next time, take care. God bless and pray.